And we are back, folks, for another edition of the Michigan Recruiting Insider. The Wolverines have been hosting the best crop of recruits I've ever seen for a spring practice slate as far as the history of Michigan recruiting this spring. Not just for the current crop of recruits, but it goes into the next recruiting cycle as well. And that brings into focus the class of 2027. And joining us now, a young man that already registers as one of the top quarterback recruits in that class, already holds an offer from the University of Michigan, Cheshire Academy, one Mr. Keegan Croucher. Keegan, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing great, man. Glad that you could join us. And again, already have established yourself as one of the top quarterback prospects in the country, but a dual sport standout.
I am, yeah.
As well. So again, goes without saying that you have earned your stripes as a standout. But I want to get outside of recruiting and just talk about being able to establish yourself in multiple sports in that way. How did you get to that level in two sports? Talk about your grind and getting to that level and what it took to get there.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I started really young. I actually played 3 sports growing up my whole life. I played basketball as well. But I think I just was brought up in a very athletic family. You know, my dad played all sports. My brother plays all sports. My mom's very athletic. And I think them just raising me, and I, played all 3 sports, and, they held me to a high standard in all sports. And, I'm a competitor, and, I want to compete in every sport I play.
So I like to dig into young men when they start to realize there's something different.
Yeah.
Between me and my friends. Like there's maybe some physical differences. Like I'm just a little bit better. Yeah. than my friends. When did that start to dawn on you?
I think ever since I was little. I was always a little bit more mature and a little bigger than all my other friends around the area. But as I started growing up, that's when I started to separate. This past year I transferred schools to Cheshire Academy, and I think me transferring schools I kind of surrounded myself with athletes a little bit more like myself. No disrespect or regard to my hometown, but it's just a little bit different level of play.
Yeah, and so there's a realization there.
Yeah.
That okay, now once the physical side starts to not be the separator anymore, now it's the grind, now it's the work, right? So you start to have to separate yourself in that way. And so what about that piece of it? Because you got to have that drive, that grind. Where do you get that from?
I think it's my family. Again, I have very supportive cast, and I think them just how they raised me. I always had that in me, and I think to be the best, you gotta compete. You gotta drive yourself. I want to be the best, and I think that comes with certain things. I need to drive myself every day. So that's where I think I get it from.
So now pitching, football.
Yeah.
Football, pitching. Do you have a favorite?
Of course. Yeah, definitely football. I think football has always been my number one. Obviously, it's hard to give up baseball, and especially pitching, because how good I am. But I've always loved football. And that's my passion. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right. So your influences. I mean, growing up, did you have a favorite quarterback that you kind of channel, that you admire, emulate, look up to?
I think everyone's typical answer is Tom Brady, but I think it's hard not to give credit to him and look up to him, everything he's done about the sport, and he's so technical with everything he does. But I think definitely I looked up to him. But there's so many quarterbacks nowadays that you can get things from, but definitely Tom Brady looking up to.
So if we talk to fans, that's your camera right there, and they haven't seen you, haven't watched your film, let's kind of give them a scouting report. They're looking at Keegan Croucher and they want to know your game. Give them that scouting report.
Yeah, so I think, first of all, I'm a tall pocket passer, but I definitely can move. I think that's what the sport is now. You got to be able to move, But yeah, I mean, I like to push the ball downfield, drive the ball. I'm very accurate when it comes to that. And, I like to, read the field and, see what I'm looking at. But I think I can do it all. I'm still building and, showcasing my game, but there's always things I can add to it.
Mm-hmm. So that's Tom Brady is a pure pocket passer. He's
yeah.
not
Yeah.
He's not a guy who moves around.
Yeah,
he
definitely.
can navigate the pocket,
Yeah.
but he's not necessarily escaping the pocket.
Yeah.
Would you be a guy who can escape the pocket?
Yeah, definitely. No, I think I definitely can escape the pocket. I'm a little bit more athletic than him.
Right, I gotcha.
yeah.
All right, so now if we were to kind of look at some of the games
Yeah.
that maybe kind of stand out for you, what were some of the ones that you think registered for college coaches? Because there are ones that maybe resonate with college coaches the most that you think maybe kind of blew you up.
I think I had a stretch of games this year where I threw for 1,100 yards in 3 games. I really got to showcase my talent. We threw the ball quite a bit. I think in one game I threw for 450 yards. So I think I definitely got to showcase my talent in those 3 games. But I think a game that goes underrated is our game versus Taft. I think I had like 2 incompletions, 3 incompletions. So that just shows my accuracy in that regard. Yeah.
Gotcha. All right. So offer-wise, I remember your Michigan offer. It was like the Northwestern game, right?
It was.
Before the game, I remember vividly when you came. Did you come expecting to get? I'm talking about the Michigan offer, of course. But when you came, did you come expecting to get that offer?
It was a little unexpected. It was a game day. It was crowded. Bryce Underwood's first game after he committed, so all eyes were on him. But I think the moment they offered me, it was very special. It was right on the 50-yard line, on the sideline, right before the game started. So I think them offering me at that moment was really special to me. And then I got to watch the game in pure happiness, and them putting up 50 points in that game was incredible.
So now, you said you grew up a Tom Brady fan.
Yeah.
Did that give you an affinity for Michigan growing up, or was it because they were recruiting you? Where did the connection with Michigan kind of come from?
I'm actually really not sure. I really didn't have a favorite college football team growing up. I think I was all about the players at that point. But I think they reached out to me or something of that regard, and I reached out to them in the last year in the springtime. We just got in touch, and ever since then we've started building a great relationship. First time been out to Michigan was last summer in June. I went to a camp there. We had a really good time. I came back in the fall, went to a game, and now I'm here again.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So some changes afoot at Michigan. Obviously, new offensive coordinator. New offense. So as you've been here, gotten an impression of new offensive coordinator Chip Lindsey, gotten an impression of what his new offense is going to be. Give me your thoughts on him and what his scheme is and is going to look like.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see what the offense is going to be this year. I think it's going to change just because of his background, but also whoever's quarterback, but we know who we're expecting. But I'm really excited to see, especially his background, working with Drake May and wherever he's been. I'm excited. I think it's going to be a little more pass game, just who's at quarterback. But I'm really excited to see it. It's going to be awesome.
What are your impressions of him as a guy? What's your connection like? I know it's early, but just your connection so far.
No, he's been awesome so far. I'm really excited to just start building more of a relationship, getting closer with him. But he's really genuine and really thought through person.
So, and then, Bryce committed,
Yeah.
right? And he committed at a time where, it's a leap of faith.
Yeah.
Because they hadn't had much offensive success. It was clear that there probably were going to be some changes as far as offensive staff was concerned. So he's showing a level of belief in what it's going to be. Did that say anything to you as a quarterback recruit?
Yeah, definitely. I think him committing here, after JJ was here, there really wasn't a guy. I think him committing here, now we know who the guy is, and I think that's just bringing, after last year with the quarterback situation, I think him being here and him bringing his fan base and Michigan back to where Michigan football is supposed to be.
So speaking of that, what are your thoughts and what is your connection like with Coach Moore?
It hasn't been I haven't really spoke to him much. I've been more with Coach Lindsey and Coach Sinagoga with the QBs. But now I'm really excited to start building a relationship with him and just getting close. And everything I've heard and everything I've spoke to him about, he's really nice and he's really a cool person and he's really genuine.
Gotcha. All right.
Yeah.
So thinking of your broad kind of take on the recruiting process, it's very early for you, I know.
Yeah.
But as you look at what you're going to be looking for in a school, give me an idea of what the biggest factors in your decision is going to be when you ultimately make it.
Yeah, I think number one is the relationships I build with the coaches and the trust I can have within the coaches. I think that's the biggest part, and just having a home and having the place feel like home. I think another thing is the development in their QBs. I think have the coaches had a past development with their QBs and how they've had success, and has the program had success developing QBs, because there's a goal after this goal. It's never ending. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. Did you get a chance to watch practice?
Today.
All right, so you were see practice for the first time.
Yeah.
All right, so now you said track record for development. So, I mean, with Coach Lindsey,
Yeah.
you got Drake May on his resume. I mean, that's a pro quarterback. I mean,
Yeah.
is that a thing that you're looking for
Definitely.
every school that you're looking at? Like, hey, what guys do you have in the NFL? Like, is that like if they don't have a quarterback in the NFL, is that like a disqualifier?
No. I mean, I think obviously if they have a guy in the NFL, that's awesome. But I think it's more how they develop also, and like who they develop. But I think if they don't have a guy in the NFL, I mean that's fine. But like Coach Lindsey, he's had Drake May, and he's been other places, and I think that that gives him a little bit higher in the rankings. I guess I don't know.
All right, so now receivers.
Yeah.
That is a thing that guys like to obviously have. So one of the things that we see quarterbacks do is they try to get, some of them anyway, they try to have a timeline for their recruitment that allows them to go out and get their guys, to go out and get their receivers. Is that something that you have in mind for your recruitment?
Yeah, I think definitely. I mean, as a freshman coming in, wherever I go, I think, having a strong freshman class is, you need that, because you're going to be with those guys forever. But I think it's really early in this process, and, like, once I get to that point, that's when it'll start.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So now, we talked a lot about Michigan. How many offers are you up to now?
I only have 7 right now. I think, I'm a very underrated guy. I think I've always been an underrated guy. I think this spring and summer, I'll add quite a bit more. But I'm excited. I think I'll prove myself.
But the Northeast, it really feels like it's always been an under-recruited,
for sure.
underrated area. But Michigan has been one of the schools to get guys out of the Northeast.
Yeah.
Whether you see guys like Cornelius Johnson, who came from Connecticut, receiver from up there, Mikey St. Ristel from Massachusetts just came up there and is doing well. Have you noted schools who have come up to the Northeast and have gotten guys who have gone on and had a lot of success, not just Michigan, but other schools who maybe have done that?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's cool because I think, Northeast football is very underrated. We have a lot of dudes up there that are very underrated, including myself. But I think whoever comes up to see me, I mean, it, holds a special place in my heart. Them just taking a shot at me and like coming up and to watch me. I'm a very young guy, so it's cool.
So other than Michigan, who are some of the other schools that you're really looking strong at here at this early juncture, and like what are some of the other visits that you have on tap?
So next week I'll be at Nebraska, then I'll be Notre Dame, then I'll be I think Minnesota, Ole Miss, Indiana. Those are just a couple of visits. I'm talking to a lot of schools, but I'm excited just for the process, and I think Oregon and Texas will be good ones to visit. I'll visit in the summertime.
So now you mentioned like a school like Oregon, like that is like true wide open spread. I mean, how big is that? I mean, that's you got teams that you're looking at that are going to throw it, a lot. I mean, you can look at like you got air raid schools, and then you got like pro style offenses. How much is that going to play a role in your decision making process?
I think it will. I'm excited to see what Coach Lindsey does with this offense, but I think you got to have a balance. It's football, but I think spread offense and showing what you can do as a quarterback it's definitely awesome. Especially with Oregon, how much they throw the ball, and like their quarterbacks and their track record is cool. But I think you definitely have to have a balance.
I got you.
Yeah.
All right. So now you gave me an idea of what you're looking for in a school. Part of what I like to hear is, what are your parents stressing they want you to look for? What are they telling you? Hey, you know what, Keegan?
Yeah.
Make sure you ask about this. Make sure you look for that.
Well, my mom and dad, I think, have very different views. My mom's, she wants me to stay close to home, you know, like mama, you know, that's my mom, you know, that's my rock. But like, you know, I think, you know, they'll be happy wherever I go, and they're strong, you know, they're strong. But I think, you know, whatever decisions we make, they're going to be on board, and, you know, they definitely have a say a little bit just because they're my parents. But I think, you know, they've done a lot for me. I'm excited about the journey. Yeah.
So mom wants you to, she says, stay close to home. What does dad say?
I think dad's right there with me. I don't think he cares where I end up. Just, you know, I gotta have a good relationship with the coaches and the coaching staff, and, you know, it's got to be the right school, you know. Yeah.
I got you. So if we were to circle some games on the schedule, Keegan, to come out and watch you do your thing, what would be a couple to highlight?
This year, up and coming this year. I mean, I don't think there's one game where you should come out. I think, you know, all of them. You know, just I don't think just to showcase all my talent. You know, I don't really think there's one game that you should.
Yeah, so they'll all be good this year. They're all big time.
Yeah, I'm excited.
I got you.
Yeah.
All right, I hear you. All right, so the last one for me, anyway, it has to do with Michigan to wrap it up. What do you like most about Michigan? I know it's early again, but what do you like most about Michigan at this point? And what would you say is the biggest question you still have about Michigan at this point?
The best things I like about Michigan, I think how they jumped on me so early. You know, they took a shot. And then two, I think the relationships I've built so far with the whole staff, and, you know, it's been really awesome. I'm excited to start building a relationship with Coach Lindsey more. He's a new guy, but I'm really excited about it. I think the facilities are they're top notch, best in the country, so that's cool too. I think the biggest question about Michigan is their offense, what it's going to look like this year. You know, it's unknown. Just in the past years, you know, with a new person like Coach Lindsey, I'm excited to see what it's about, though.
I hear you.
Yeah.
Well, Keegan, hey, man, I really appreciate you taking time out to come
course.
over and spend with us, and we're going to be out to watch you play, man. Thanks
Awesome.
a lot.
Thank you.
And thanks again, folks, for another edition of the Michigan Recruiting Insider.